All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for the next edition of Moving Beyond the Coronavirus Economy. And I am so grateful to have our guest on with us today. And we'll do a little intro as people are loading in and getting allowed into the session here. But I'm so thankful to have Daniel Mullens with BoodleAi. And we started working together here a few months ago, and their product is just awesome. And I can say that I have not used it as well as I should be using it, and Daniel will verify that. But it's really amazing what they're doing. It's definitely where things are going. There's no doubt about it. I'm actually reading a book right now about the 8 megatrends occurring in the 21st century and beyond, and artificial intelligence is one that has a whole huge component to it. So with that, Daniel, I'd love to turn things over to you to give us a little background and talk about the greatest breakthroughs for franchise growth being exposed. So I'd love to turn it over to you.
Absolutely, and thank you very much, Tom. Yeah, I won't hold it against you, the usage of Boodle, but I know we'll get there in the end. It's as you say, it's a great tool. But
Yeah.
well, thank you for all joining, of course, and carving some time out of your day today. As Tom said, my name is Daniel or Danny. I'm the head of commercial and franchise sales here at BoodleAi, and today, as Tom said, I will be able to show you some of the breakthroughs that we've seen and we are creating in franchise growth. Just as a backstory, BoodleAi is a data-driven digital ad provider that offers hyper-targeted marketing solutions, and for those who are looking to achieve more. We were founded by 2 military and entrepreneurial veterans. Boodle is built on a foundation of service and achieving the impossible. 5 years ago, our mission was to help organizations achieve significant lifts in conversion, engagement, and retention rates in a way no one else can. I have over 10 years experience working with small business owners, serving as their trusted advisors, and also assisting CEOs of companies large and small, including both franchisors and franchisees, to find the right tools to grow their business. So picture this for a second. Your organization or your client's organization selling more franchisees that look like your best franchisees or their best franchisees. What kind of impact would that have on the financial health of that concept? What impact would that have on the brand and even the internal culture of that franchise? And who doesn't want more of their best performing or top franchisees? It'll reduce the headaches and increase the revenue, right? Or we can all agree with that. I think we can also all agree that the customers are the number one priority in any business. And for franchisees, they are the most important component to any concept, emerging or mature. However, a vast majority of owners and franchisors don't truly understand them. And after 2020, it's never been more important to reassess who your customers are. There is an inordinate amount of change that happened between buying patterns and overall really habits, where people are going to work and they're not going to work. And that happened globally. So really now is a really good time to reassess that. Also, selecting, for a franchise industry, right, selecting the correct territory can mean the difference between $1 million club location or just a run-of-the-mill location. And there are many data-driven ways that I'm sure all of you apply here to evaluate a territory. And even if you're scoring a territory based on old demographics, you're really looking in the wrong place, in the wrong direction. We at Boodle ultimately support franchisees and franchisors of a suite of services and tools to help them grow. This includes our flagship product, which is enriched digital advertising. That's the breakthrough that we have here in hyper-focused digital ads. So who doesn't love an analogy? Analogies always help me retain new information. So for this presentation, we'll use Thomas Edison and his invention of electric power generation. Without the know-how, the incredible genius, the raw materials, and a whole bunch of coal, actually, to power the power plant, it isn't that powerful. The data that business owners and franchise organizations sit on can become a powerful tool for business growth. Luckily, you don't have to hire Thomas Edison or a data science anymore. Through our enrichment, it'd be quite hard to hire Tom, but through our enrichment process, we can construct personas, provide insights, and build models to help organizations understand their customers primarily, and then apply that knowledge through insights and predictions to help businesses overcome the challenges that they face. And just like Thomas Edison found out, a power plant is only useful if people needing electricity have access to it. We have an easy to use and easy to navigate platform built by some of the best engineers around, even from NASA. Nevertheless, the average business owner doesn't necessarily have the time to gather those insights from our platform. So we understood that, no matter how simple it may be. So we started to generate reports for our users so they can share the valuable information with their franchise coaches, maybe their mentors, or even their business partners. The genesis of Boodle really and honestly was about accessibility. It's about removing the barriers and barrier to entry to data science. And our founders, Sean and Franz, wanted to remove the competitive advantage from the larger companies and franchises and put them in the hands of everybody, including emerging brands or someone who's just starting out as a franchisee. So what is possible with Boodle? Well, I'll give an example here. I'm working with a franchise development team at the moment, and they have a bunch of leads coming through on a weekly basis from various sources. Now, balancing their time between the follow-ups, discovery days, attempting to contact new leads and managing their referrals is proving obviously quite difficult. The employment rate is a squeeze as well, right? It's at 5.2% right now, and resources is fairly limited. They were looking for an easy and affordable way to prioritize their leads and ultimately maximize their time. And what we did at Boodle is we are pre-qualifying their leads based on how wealthy those individuals are and how much spending capacity they have before they've even picked up the phone to talk to these individuals. Now their outbound efforts are actually focused on converting the leads that are qualified and have a higher likelihood of converting. We can also do the similar things you've seen on the screen here. We can also score leads on how similar they are to their current franchisees, which of course increases the conversion rates. We can score them against the highest performing franchisees if there's enough data there. And we can also help individuals look for score them against multi-unit owners. Everyone wants a multi-pack buyer, right, for a franchise. We can also do that scoring too. And of course, flying a plane is easy when you know how to, right? And the same applies to scoring leads and prioritizing your time. So what else is possible? Identifying the best location for a franchise, as I mentioned, it is nail biting, right? And I'm almost done reading. I'm not sure if you read this book yourself. It's called The Wealthy Franchise by Scott Greenberg. If you haven't read it, it's a really good book. And he quoted, "You'll build your wealth more easily when your decisions are based on data." And as I mentioned previously, right, location analysis is really important in expanding a franchise footprint or starting a franchise footprint. So by analyzing the current customers of, let's say, a Budget Blinds franchise, we can determine the top zip codes and DMAs across the nation, which have a high density of people who look, act, behave, and spend just like that customer subset that we created. Last year, we worked with a hockey retailer. They approached us with a growth problem. What had happened is that they'd maxed out their current target cities, sales were plateauing, and their cost of acquisition was increasing. They'd used Boodle to identify new areas to target. So after analyzing their data, we discovered that a small city on the East Coast was a good fit. And we presented this to the owners, and they were just like, "There's no way, there's no chance this is going to work." But after a quick Google, literally on screen with them, it turns out that city had 2 college hockey teams, a large adult and children amateur league, and there's no local hockey shop, so which made it a perfect fit. And now they're seeing success in that market. And this is the data-driven analysis that I'm sure either you are employing or that you could be employing a little bit better as well. So imagine as a franchise being able to identify which of your current customers looks like your repeat customers. I'd imagine you'd pick up the phone, give them a call, and discount them on the next purchase, right? Or invite them to a loyalty program. We know the statistics behind a loyalty program. Or how about if you know how they if you know how they look like you're a different type of sorry, I'll start again. Or imagine if you knew that they look like the customers who bought a different type of service or product to the one they actually purchased. You'd immediately try to find a way to market that product to them, right? Offer a discount on that product. Franchisees are sitting on a gold mine. Now, without a pan or a know-how to turn dirt into gold, it will forever remain a mine full of gold. Here's some statistics for you. I'm struggling with that word today. 44% of businesses focus on customer acquisition, while only 18% focus on customer retention. And existing customers are 50% more likely to try a business's new product, hence sitting on a gold mine, right? But what a lot of businesses fail to do is offer the right products and the right services to the right customers. Now, the examples I've provided are all about analyzing your current data to find hidden gems. But what we've created here is a way of finding net new customers. So before we jump into enriched digital ads, let's go back to Thomas Edison and his wonderful inventions. Did I just drop audio? Can you still hear me, Tom?
I can hear you. Yes,
Okay,
loud
great.
and clear.
So I said one of my AirPods just dropped. So Thomas knew he was going to run into a bit of a snag again, right? I've created the power. I can distribute into someone's home. Now, what can they do with that that would provide value to them? And you guessed it, he had a light bulb moment. We also had a brainwave here at Boodle, not quite at the same scale, but a brainwave at that. How can we turn the insights, the predictions, modeling, even customer enrichment into scoring into something that every franchise is looking for? And that's how we birthed enrich digital ads. So I'll provide you with two examples here, and hopefully this will cover kind of the various use cases that we'll have in this room today, as we've got quite a varied audience. So let's say you're a coffee shop franchise. You've signed your FDD, you've done your discovery deal, and it was amazing. The training was all you ever needed. And now it's time to turn the education into pound notes, or as maybe you would say dollars. Either works, really. However, you don't know who your customer is and how to find them. Corporate has set up some great SEO, and you've paid $25,000 towards the National Ad Fund that's going to create some incredible brand awareness and marketing, but you need cups to fill with that go juice. Imagine setting up a virtual wall around a competing coffee shop, capturing the persona of those customers, and then serve ads to their homes or mobile devices to come to your coffee shop and give it a shot with a free coffee coupon. Better yet, are there any households within that territory that you've purchased that look like those customers as well? They maybe haven't purchased a coffee from the other coffee shop and they're waiting as low-hanging fruit to come to yours. And let's remember the coffee shop franchise analogy for a second here, and we'll name it Go Juice. You found a great location to open up a coffee shop as a franchisor, right? You thought, Denver is the next place to go. It's a bustling area, and I can vouch Denver has got many coffee enthusiasts, including myself. But you can't seem to find the right franchisee, right, to build that next location. You would, of course, hire Tom, but visualize for a second. Selecting the top 3,000 households in that territory or in the area that contains someone who looks like the current franchisees. Now, the current franchisees, right? So you designated that now that audience. Now send that audience household advertisements, which could possibly be a video or a piece of digital direct mail. And imagine the power or the incredible power that would have on, and then portraying the message of owning an incredible coffee shop within their region. This type of hyper-targeted advertising is what is setting Boodle apart. We can deliver banner, video, and even OTT ads which if you don't know, they are the kind of those display ads that display videos that are on kind of Roku devices, streaming devices, for example. We can deliver it to specific devices of a household, or even just the household itself. And we can also provide you with the mobile advertising IDs of individuals, so you can advertise within your Facebook account and really just running on your normal Facebook campaigns, so you can do some testing for you. Look, we all know IP targeting isn't new, nor is segmenting your audience. People have been doing this since the 70s. But how you select your audience, and as Tom rightly introduced at the beginning of this call, through AI, has dramatically shifted. Data-driven marketing is a top priority for marketing leaders. And I pulled up some stats before this call. 40% of organizations aim to increase data-driven marketing budgets. Maybe they've been reading the same book as you, Tom. And 64% of marketing leaders report that data-driven strategies are vital in today's economy. Also, I read that data-driven marketing increases return on investment. So that's a no-brainer. But with campaigns that leverage data-driven personalization, reporting 5 to 8 times return on investment from their campaign spend. That's incredible. Why is that happening? Well, instead of targeting just picture this, instead of targeting the entire zip code, you are targeting individuals or identities who have a strong affinity and affiliation to your brand or cause or product or service. You're selecting households that have the capacity to spend with you. You're selecting households who have a similar income or household value or demographic metric or psychographic to your best customers. And there's many more attributes that we can apply from from technology adoption to veterans in the household, children. That it's incredible what our data science team have collected here. But it's the development of AI and introducing that into marketing and sales. And you can't drive to the coffee shop if you're using Google. You can't drive to work without AI interfering or being a part of your daily life. And it's now becoming a part of how we attain, attract, and look for new clients. Okay, so let's bring our good chap Thomas Edison back into the picture. We've built the power source. We've created the access point. We've delivered the power through something fairly useful, the light bulb. And Thomas didn't go and pack his bags and sail off into the sunset at this point, did he? What he did was assess, test, and perfect. There's a saying that I've always liked: if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always got. With our post-campaign reporting, we analyze the ad performance across 15 demographics. If you know your marketing and Facebook, that's 100% more than Facebook and Google. And by analyzing the campaign performance, we build a roadmap for success. So, for example, maybe the age ranges that we deliver the advertisements to reacted differently. Maybe the lower age ranges didn't have the kind of the expected results that we thought. Or maybe the people who rent their home didn't react to that lawn service or cleaning service franchise advertisement. But to the people who did own their home. What we can do with that information for the next campaign is build the roadmap to success. Well, maybe we shift the age ranges. Maybe we actually target more people who rent their house, so we can really develop that back end and post-campaign analysis. And this is a breakthrough in how you plan, create, execute, and analyze on your digital marketing spend. So, to conclude, it's time to be like the top 50 franchises. Tom just won an award, right? Sitting on LinkedIn, top 3. He's already on the brink of it and looking at this AI and developing his AI strategy with Boodle, and at a fraction of the cost. I would love to open up to questions if you have any. It's been a pleasure, speaking with you all today and presenting to you. And I hope that we can support your franchisees, your network, and how we can help them achieve their business goals really and overcome any challenges. And we aren't talking today about something that's a $10,000 license. We're talking about something as a very, very small starting point There's really no excuses not give BoodleAi a try at that point. But yeah, I'll pass it back to you, Tom, and if any questions from this wonderful audience.
Yes. So I was just going to say, if there are any questions from anyone, either type it in the chat box here. You can hit the raise hand feature, and I'll unmute you so that we can make sure you can chat. So while you're thinking about questions, I know, Danny, one of the things that has stood out to me that's interesting. So the product's awesome. You say, okay, the price point's extremely affordable for you to get in and get started with this and start going through it. Okay, but now what? Like, how do I, like, do I have to have this perfect data to get started? Like, is this a complicated system to use? How does that all work?
That's a great question. No, you don't necessarily have to have the data. If we can have data from you that we can start analyzing, then fantastic. But we can start at the bare bones and just understanding what your business goals are and challenges. We have a various array of products, services, reports that help you get there. But no, it's super easy. And if you did have the data, we give you platform access, and it's a simple drag and drop of a CSV file, and we start analyzing. We do the magic in the background. We know making of the sausage analogy, right? We don't need to see what goes in the background. We just want to see that finished product. And so, no, Tom, it's super easy. It's a CSV file of your customer's information to really get the analysis enrichment going. And then for the advertisements, we can start with no data. We can start looking at and building that persona, that demographic between us together. Now, if we have customer information and can build it from actual customers, it's obviously going to be more successful. But with the post-campaign tool, if we send it to the demographics that we selected within a geographical location and then analyze the results, we start to hone that down, right, and focus and focus and focus and reiterate. And so no, it's honestly it's simple. We've built a platform that is easy to use. I know many business owners can, or franchise consultants and agents are very, very busy, and brokers, but no, it's very simple, Tom.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. Thank you. And one of the things that I have found very interesting out of this as a takeaway, and I know you shared this and have talked about it, but is really understanding, I think for any business owner or leader of their organization, there's a general understanding of what your quote client avatar is, or what that, profile of an average franchisee or maybe an average customer might look like, or even segment it out. There might be certain territories or regions like you were talking about. But what was really exciting for me when we went through the process and just kind of started looking, and we're just like barely at the surface, touching the surface of what the capabilities are for our own use, but just sharing some information on that is we went to we were able to pull out and actually find out what the actual data says about our actual customers, finding out things like what is their typical age and how do they prefer to receive information. It was really cool to see that, where we have a general understanding of what it would be, but we're not in a business where we say, well, how old are you? What year were you born in? As we're collecting data and information. And so the service helps, BoodleAi helps figure that out and can find that out and pull that data and aggregate and provide some averages. And so it was really interesting for us that we were close on most things, but there were definitely some data points that came back that were a little surprising, where we looked at it and said, wow, I'm glad we ran this exercise, because this is not what our impression or understanding was in looking at that.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's one prediction I've not even mentioned today. Is our ability to predict response likelihood of certain various communication channels. So if you're running a direct mail campaign or a telephone campaign or an email campaign, we can predict the response likelihood of them, engaging with that piece of communication. And we've helped organizations who do direct mail save a lot of money by sending it to those non-respondents, right, and increasing their return on investment by sending it to people who will respond and are likely to. So yeah, it's a great point. And look, the data will tell you something if you listen, if you're willing to listen.
Yeah. Yep. Well, great. Well, I am not seeing any questions come through. So, Danny, the key question here that I'd like to at least close with is, if I'm interested, okay, I reach out to you, but how do I get started? What are the next steps? Are you able to share or talk about any kind of what the initial deposit or starting point might be like for someone who's interested in this?
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. I'm sure we'll circulate my contact details. If you've not got them, we'll certainly do so. Yeah, if you can drop me an email or find me on LinkedIn, let's connect and let's build a quick 20-minute discovery call so I can understand kind of business challenges at hand here and really tailor that demonstration to your needs. Um, the starting point is simple. To get the platform access and start build. Well, I say it's simple. There's different, use cases here, but the most common one is how do I find more customers? How do I find more franchisees? And then also analyzing my data set. And all that is included into one of our packages, which is $1,750. And that includes advertising as well as analysis. But we can start at $499. So for $499, we'll analyze your data set, we'll provide predictions, we can create a model from that to do the advertising. But as little as $4.99 to get started. It's a cup of coffee a week or a cup of Go Juice, my new franchise I created, and to get started. So this isn't a $10,000 license. It's as little as $4.99.
Yeah, so less than $500, you can
Yes.
get in and get started and get going. And I think even just the exercise of going through that is helpful. So it's
Yeah.
Daniel at BoodleAi, BOODLE.ai. Danny, thank you so much for being here. This is awesome. Again, I always love having folks on where we are customers or clients of yours because it makes it so easy to talk about. So, so I've appreciated our time working together in this new system and program that you're working with. So thank you for an awesome presentation, and we'll make sure we share this link as well. And if you're tuning in or we're hoping for more, this will be posted up on YouTube for future viewing as well over the next few days. So thank you all so much on a short week on Labor Day for joining us, and have a great weekend. And we look forward to having you back next week. Thank you all.